My best friend at the time looked at me and said, "We are here to steal a purse." Words no one wants to hear, ever. Immediately, I froze. I was shocked. This was a person that I had trusted. She had been so warm and welcoming to me compared to all the other girls in the neighborhood. And Shelley had been a fun friend for the last year, and at 18 years old, I was just looking for that place to feel connected, feel like I belonged. So I look at her, and why, I ask. That was the only word that I had the courage to muster up. She looked at me and she said, "We need more money for dope." What? I thought to myself, seriously? I mean, it was true. Shelley and I, as we hung out, we had bonded over drinking alcohol and recreational drug use, which became more of a regular thing these days. And we were hanging around friends who were high more often than not. But stealing? Seriously? And in my innocence, I hadn't realized that Shelley had been planning this the whole time since we left the house. I thought this was a normal trip to Safeway. I'm sitting in the back seat of the car, Alex in the driver's seat, Shady Shelley in the passenger seat, scanning the parking lot looking for our prey. And in that moment, she spots an old woman walking across the parking lot and directs Alex towards her. My heart begins to beat real hard. I can feel the heat and the blood rushing to my head. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to do. Afraid to even say anything. If I were to speak up, what would happen now that I knew the extreme that she would go through? I thought, I better keep my mouth shut, because what if they call the cops, try to blame this on me, or even physically hurt me? So in that moment, Shelley starts to get out of the car and approaches this old woman, an old woman with long gray hair and big, beautiful black eyes. And my entire world goes completely silent as I see the shock of fear on this old woman's face. And I could just see her gasp as she notices Shelley approaching her with harmful intent. And all I could do was sit in the back seat, crouching down, praying, "God, please don't let this be happening. God, please get me out of this. How did I end up here?" And those beautiful black eyes of that sweet old woman reminded me of my grandmother Lena. I was raised by my grandmother the first 5 years of my life, by her and my mom. And I would wake up to the smell of fresh brewed coffee and homemade tortillas being warmed on the wood-fired oven. And I would walk downstairs into the kitchen to see my grandma. And she would look at me and she would say, "Ven pa cá, hijita." She'd invite me to sit on her lap at the kitchen table. And she would dunk a ginger snap cookie into her coffee. "Here, a special snack for a special little girl." In fact, Shelley and her friends gave me that same special feeling that my mother gave me. I had a sense of belonging with these friends. So I was really confused with these emotions of feeling like I was in a solid place, even though we were doing crazy things, but yet I was confused thinking, how could these people be about to commit such a horrible crime? And instead of doing something, I just sit in the back seat, not saying a single thing, thinking if I just turn the other cheek that maybe, because I can't see this, it's not happening, that maybe it'll just go away. Like how many times, I don't know if any of you have ever been in a situation in your life where you just want to turn the other cheek, hide, crouch down, go away, disappear, and think that if I do that, maybe my problems will just disappear. In that moment, in the middle of broad daylight, Shelley reached for this old woman's purse. And do you know what that old lady did? She fought back. She fought back. With one arm, she held tight to her purse, and with the other arm, she started punching and flinging Shady Shelley away from her. She was not giving in to Shelley's invasion. This woman was fighting for her life. And I'm in the back seat, silently cheering this woman on as Shelley runs back to the car, empty-handed. Yes, thinking, and hoping nobody saw me as part of this. And I don't recall a lot of what happened after that. I just knew that this woman showed up in my life to show me exactly what I needed to do. I needed to choose to live my life and stand up for what is right for me. My grandmother taught me better than all of this. I had to find a way to get out. And I did. It took me 8 years. 8 years to completely say no to that entire lifestyle. No more drugs, no more ghetto, no more thugs. Done. Start living for me. And for the past 11 years, I have been choosing something greater for myself. I've been choosing amazing friends who love and nurture and care for me. And now I even have the courage to say what works for me and to stay true to my desires. And what's interesting is, even with my family, I noticed this strength. Even with my mother. And the last conversation with my mom tested these skills when she asked to borrow money for a trip. And normally, I would have cowered down, tried to think of an excuse, come up with a reason why I couldn't loan her the money. But instead of lying, I actually chose to say something that I now say in many boundary situations. I said, that's just not going to work for me. And you know what she said? Okay. That's right. Okay. I was like, seriously? You mean to tell me it was this easy this whole time? Like, I didn't have to, it was this easy. So what if it's really that easy? What if choosing for you is really easy and you just got to make the first move? So whatever it is that you need to choose, whatever you have to do to live your life, your health, your happiness, whatever it is, choose it. It's your life.